Assalamu alaikum everyone, Ms. Multahana Ansari. This is part 2 of the video on endometrial ablation that I hope I can get uploaded before this one. I'm having some trouble with it, so hopefully by the time I do this, I'll have that one up. But so I'm just leaving the doctor from my follow-up hospital visit, because of my hospital visit from last week. And a couple of things, I've been having some issues with this vein. As I've said before, when I was in the hospital last week, I had to get I had an IV in for a few days, and I had to get IV antibiotic, and then I also got a liter on 2 days of IV iron. And that iron is serious business, let me tell you. And so they probably should have gone into another vein, I'm thinking, because it is so harsh. Antibiotics itself is harsh on the veins, but they didn't. And so I wish you could feel it. My vein for about maybe 3 inches or so is sort of hard, and it's actually that is actually something called superficial thermophlebitis, and it just means you have deep vein thrombitis, DVTs, which is a clots that people get in your legs and your different parts of their body, and it's the deeper veins. I don't have that. I'm on Eliquis daily for my factor 5, my blood clotting disorder, which is a genetic thing. So I don't have that. But so this superficial vein is sort of bothered. So it's almost like I got a little clot in it from that. And the way that I can help get rid of that is by putting warm or hot as I can stand it, I guess, wet compresses. But I only did it a couple of times because they get warm so fast. Even when I put it in the plastic to try to lock in the heat, it still doesn't work. So I'm probably gonna just use a heating bottle or something like that, a hot water bottle or something. Because I don't think I have. You know what? I was gonna say I should just go and buy a heating pad, but I don't know if I really want to do that. I'm only gonna have this issue. Hopefully, I'm only gonna have this issue for, it might take a couple of weeks. I can't take anything for inflammation or anything like Advil or Midol or anything, because I cannot do the estrogen and the stuff that are in them because of my Eliquis. But anyway, so that's the first thing with that. I just figured I'd throw that in here as a freebie for anybody who may have that issue. Or if you have to go for iron infusions or something like that and have an IV, and then you have that sort of a hardened vein, you won't freak out about it, but you definitely speak to your provider about it. Now the other thing, getting to the point of this video, the endometrial ablation, very quickly, just in case somebody doesn't see the other video, and try to get this together because I'm talking fast. I'm trying to have the video not be too long. So I have the issue with my bleeding, and I'm bleeding far too much because I have fibroids and I'm on the Eliquis, and so it's putting me in a hospital now because I'm losing far too much blood and my hemoglobin is so low, and that in itself is really bad. But it can also cause other issues, which I'll mention shortly. So the options were to help me. One of the major option was hysterectomy. It was either monthly blood transfusions, which I did not want. I still cannot remember the name. I get the name of this injection and then I forget it again. But there's an injection which pretty much makes your body feels like it's going into premenopause, and so you won't get a cycle. I didn't want that because, one, I'm not a vaccine person, but also, and more so, it causes a lot of issues for women, a lot of issues. So I didn't want that. So then the third option I was given was hysterectomy. When I finally got through all the emotional issues, you know, which I still haven't totally, I said, okay, have to look at the bigger picture. I want to be here for my children. I want to be here for my grandchildren. I don't want to be sick all the time and bleeding all over the place and unable to come outside for the first few days of my cycle. I said, okay, I'll get it. And then when I said I would get it, it's like, oops, you can't do that because of your condition. You could die in the surgery. So I'm like, I don't want that either. Like, I'm good. So the only other option was endometrial ablation, which is the endometrium, which is the lining around your uterus. They burn it and they make it where when the hormones, which trigger normally the endometrium to thicken to prepare for the birth of a child or the a pregnancy, it thickens. And if you don't get pregnant, it sheds, which is what we call bleeding. It's not really bleeding, it's just the lining shedding, but which causes the cycle. So when they burn the endometrium, it cannot thicken. You still have everything else, the hormones still, ejects and all that sort of thing, but the endometrium won't thicken, which means it won't shed, which means you don't have a menstrual cycle, you don't have bleeding. So that was the thing that they said for me to do. However, me being me, I went and researched everything, and I also joined a Facebook EA or endometrial ablation support group, and really all the women on there were women who did not have success with the ablation. And so I tried to keep an open mind because there were a few women on YouTube who made videos, which there are not a lot of videos, which is another reason why I'm doing this. But they seemed like they had an okay deal with it. And also I have my cousin said she works with a woman who got it, and she's been feeling fabulous for the past 5 years. So I said I would keep an open mind, even though these women on the support group already knew they were like going to be disgruntled in a way. But nonetheless, there were like a lot of women, saying like, this is horrible, don't get it, I still bleed, or I have a seriously foul odor from my vagina now, or I have like excruciating pain that I didn't have before, all these sorts of things. And so I'm like, hold up, I don't think I want that. But what are my options? So I went for my follow-up today, and I'm with my normal PCP, but another physician, because she is out or whatever, couldn't see me. And he, I don't know, he is pretty much like, listen, you're going to have to get something done, which is true, because I cannot keep going on like this. If you keep having low hemoglobin, it can cause a whole lot of issues, because essentially you're working with like half of the blood that you should be working with, which is why I'm like so fatigued, and I just feel like I can't get it together, you know what I'm saying? Like, I lose my words, I can't think, I'm just like, man, out of it. And so, that's bad enough, and of course the bleeding is bad enough. And the past 2 cycles that I was hospitalized, and I'm getting nervous because it's coming again, my cycle will be here in a couple of weeks or so, inshallah. And so, like, that's just the beginning of it though. All those things, if you don't have enough blood for your kidneys, that's going to be an issue. Like CHF, congestive heart failure, can become an issue. Like, all these different things can become an issue dealing with my hemoglobin and me not having enough blood. And so I have to get something done. So what he said, and actually what kind of my son and I concluded, because I'm not one of those women who feel like it's my body, it's my choice, but I gotta ask you something for it. My health is the health of my family, and likewise, if my son was sick or whatever, we are a team, and therefore the team, in my opinion, needs to know what's going on. Especially my eldest son. If something goes down, he's gonna have to be the one and like step up. So we concluded that, and he did his little research too, and it showed that like 80 to 90% of the procedures out of like 400 to 500,000, no, I think 300 to 400,000, or either 400 to 500,000 per year, 80 to 90% of those are good. Like they say, like 10 to 20% are failures. My question is, what are they considering a failure and what are they considering a success? But nonetheless, the options are only ablation, hysterectomy. Also, a lot of women who get the ablation eventually have to get a hysterectomy. So it could still be in my future. I don't really know how that will go, because one gyno specialist is saying I can't get it because I could die during surgery, where like I think almost like all the other doctors, when I mention that, they're like, huh? But of course they're not going to say anything against their colleague, but they pretty much say like, well, we've heard it, we do that here often, and like things are different now, like you just get the Lovenox shot and stuff like that. So I'm not feeling confident about this ablation. However, I think I'm going to have to go on and get it and pray Allah that it's successful, that I don't have to deal with these things that these other women who like have horror stories, essentially, what they are going through or have gone through. And then I don't want to get a hysterectomy. I don't necessarily want, well, I do want more children, but I don't believe I'm going to try to have more children. But by the same token, that's a part of me, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's like taking off a leg, or taking my breast away or something like that. It's very, very serious, and so many people just feel like, oh, we're not gonna have more kids, man, throw it away. Even like women that I know who have had hysterectomies, it's just like, oh girl, we're gonna have no more babies. And it's like freeing, and I get that. It's freeing on a lot of levels, but it's still major surgery, and is a major it's just major. So is endometrial ablation for me? I do not think it is, but I am going to get it anyway, I think, inshallah. It say the procedure takes like 10 to 15 minutes, and I just really make dua for me, all, please, that this works out, like seriously. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I gotta get my life together, because I can't do a darn thing right now. I have no energy, nothing. I'm out of work. I'm out of work, and I have to get my business, my my own businesses and things going, but I just don't have the energy or just that oomph that you need, you know what I'm saying? I just don't have to get up and go, and I need to get this popping. So please put me in y'all's prayers, child. I need you. And I, of course, will keep you abreast of what happens, because I really pray Allah that what I'm going through can help someone else. So on that, I would say, Assalamu alaikum. Peace. I'm going home to eat.